Today we are celebrating hitting P50 with everyone's favourite medical care professional, the nurse, who I've finally settled on as my main in Dead by Daylight. Learning her moderate skill floor has been really challenging, but with every blink I feel myself improving, and it's been deeply rewarding. Choosing my killer main has been a long and complex process, and prior to nurse I'd thought either Unknown or Xenomorph would be my mains. I've played this game on and off since 2017, starting on console, and for all that time I've been intimidated to play nurse, but I've always wanted to. This year I was finally motivated to do so after getting absolutely destroyed as Unknown by some really good survivors. Learning nurse has taken some time, but I've loved every moment of the process, and I now find that I have a genuine passion to play this killer and to continue to improve. But with that in mind, and to celebrate this milestone, I wanted to make this video reflecting on my progress and then to showcase 3 games using 3 different builds for the nurse. I was inspired to do this by Shiny Cat May, who documented their journey to P100 Deathslinger. The videos were really personal and documented May's growth over several months, and it inspired me to do the same with my new killer main. With that said, and as the title of this video would suggest, I am far from a top tier nurse. I am competent, sure, but you will see me make mistakes. I will overblink, I will get my blink swallowed, and I will get outplayed by clever survivors. But that's the point of this video, it's to showcase a completely mid nurse trying his best to improve. With that said, let us discuss the 3 builds that I'm going to show you today. For all 3, I'm going to be using the 2 same add-ons. The first being Heavy Panting, so we get 30% extra to our lunges after our second blink. Just a real solid add-on that allows you to get some nasty hits that you shouldn't be able to otherwise. I'm also using Jenner's Last Breath, so I get the ability to refund my blinks to the point where I first used them, with 1 blink ready to go. This is just my favourite add-on for so many reasons. It makes the nurse so dynamic. First, when you inevitably blink into the basement, you can just pretend it never happened. Secondly, you can use Jenner's Last Breath to patrol generators. You can double blink to a generator that's far away, and if there's no one there, then you can just return to your original point. But perhaps its most exciting application is that you can catch survivors off guard with that 3rd blink, especially if they've been able to outplay you by doubling back to your original position. I've had plenty of value in this regard, even getting her notorious From the Void She Kills achievement using Jenner's Last Breath, and in this video you will see me get some nasty hits, only because of Jenner's. In regards to the perk builds, the first one is the one I use these days mostly, a balanced build that has both gen regression and some information. And as you can see from the preset name, this is actually the recommended build from Hens' website. Pain Resonance and Eruption for regression, and Nowhere to Hide and Lethal Pursuer for information, with of course Nowhere to Hide and Eruption working well together. The second build is my comfort one, and one I used when I was learning, a full aura and information build, meaning we can consistently get into chases and get downs. In this build we have Lethal Pursuer and Nowhere to Hide, but we also have Floods of Rage and Jagged Compass. Floods of Rage activates any time a survivor is unhooked from a Scourge hook, and it reveals all survivors' auras. Jagged Compass turns any regular hook into a Scourge hook when the survivor is unhooked. This means that any time a survivor is unhooked from any hook, they will proc Floods of Rage because that hook will have become a Scourge hook, and it gives me unlimited information essentially. Additionally, Jagged Compass will highlight the most progressed generator in yellow, thus directing me to my next chase and the next generator that I can patrol. This build is great for when you're learning, but it's become a bit of a crutch for me as I was basically always relying on aura reads for my chases, and so I'm glad my newer build has forced me to get a bit better at predicting survivor pathing. Finally, to challenge myself a little bit, I'm going to run the Nurse's Adept build for the 3rd game, even though I already have this achievement. This means we have Nurse's Calling and Strider for some situational information, and Thanatophobia for some slowdown. Not amazing, but also not the worst set of perks. But with that said, let us jump into the games, and I hope you enjoy. Alright, so game 1 here, loading in with the Hens build, the balance build, on a pretty difficult map for Nurse actually, Leary's. So this will push my skills, quote unquote, to the test. Now, with Lethal Pursuer, we will try and get an early hit off here. And lovely, we get an early hit here on Sable, and that is the power of Lethal Pursuer. And by the way, incidentally, if anything in this video makes you want to try Nurse, I would definitely recommend friend of the channel Lachlan's guide on Nurse. And yep, that's a good first down versus Sable there. As you can see, the chase did extend a little bit because she did lose me because of Leary's strength in regards to line of sight breakers. But overall, pretty happy with that start, and we do get a pain resonance to start ourselves off. Yep, some good play by Dwight there, and a bit of a misplay from me getting blinked into this shower, but never mind, let's try and pick him up again. So yeah, let's hope that this balance build does help me. This Dwight is being a little bit silly now. Maybe a bit too silly after he had a good first chase with me. Oh, good play by him. Oh, yep, that swallow was 100% meant. That was an outplay by me. That was totally not a mistake getting swallowed on that pallet there. But yeah, when I first started playing Nurse, instead of this balance build I'm using now, I was mainly using the build you'll see in the next video, which is my Comfort Aura build. Because when you're learning Nurse, you don't really want to think about the macro gameplay about winning or losing matches. You just want to focus on getting better at your blinks and your chases. And so having lots of information is really good for that, which is why I would recommend the second build that I'll be using in this video. But as you get better, you can still get stuck in that trap of just chasing one survivor, then chasing one survivor, and then, oh, the match is done because... And, sorry, I just need to lock in for a couple of seconds here. Okay, nice. And so what you saw me do there when I finally hit that player there was when I came out of my blink, instead of immediately swinging as I was doing before when I kept missing her, is I just held my blink, because you do have about half a second or so before you need to swing, before you fatigue. And sometimes survivors outplay themselves when you just come out of a blink and you hold it for a second. And that's what worked there. Instead of just wildly swinging, I waited and I was able to see her clearly and got the down. So that's something I've definitely learned to do a lot more as I've continued to play Nurse. And actually again there, when I downed Dwight, you saw me do the same. I just took a moment to pause and reorientate myself, as I think he was hoping I would miss swing and he'd be able to vault the pallet, but instead I held a second and he just pinned himself between me and the pallet. Okay, so for anyone confused as to what just happened when I did that blink there, that is the Nurse bug that is plaguing her and has been for a few months. You saw that I blinked in towards the office area, but now I've been pushed back. Oh, and please don't tell me you've got a flashlight. You do. Okay, I need to be more careful. But yeah, as I was saying, the Nurse bug, as you saw there, is where you make a blink, but then it sort of gets pushed back from where you were actually going to land. And myself and others have reported this bug to behaviour, so hopefully it will get fixed, although I doubt she'll be a priority. Anyway, I'm glad we were able to scare off Serena from getting a second flashlight save. We're in a good position now, albeit we are 2 gens down already. And I'm not sure what the play is going to be here, Serena, to be honest with you. But after making this video, I think I'm going to experiment with some other perks, namely Agitation, because I see that 2 Nurse mains have been running it, Super Alf and Lachlan. And the reason for doing so was explained by Alf in his stream, which I was watching the other day. And he made the point that if Nurse gets a hook in a good location in a map, the game is basically over. And agitation had been something I'd never considered before, but I did experience this phenomena in a Dead Dog Saloon game where I got someone on the central hook. And this was also after a bad initial chase, and yet from here I snowballed because they couldn't get the unhook for free, and I was also guarding the remaining gens from one spot in the map. So yeah, definitely another aspect of the macro gameplay, again, that I need to consider in regards to where I hook people as Nurse, and so I think I will run agitation going forward. I'm not really sure what the plan was there, Zarina, to be honest with you. That was truly some extraordinary behaviour, that's for sure. Ah, okay, she had Decisive Strike. That explains the bizarre and aggressive behaviour. Quite good coordination from them there. I don't know if that was accidental, me getting struck by the Decisive Strike and then getting the unhook at the same time. Pretty good. Yep, and they're both going to be going down. So despite the good, interesting rescue play with the Decisive Strike, that has kind of... I think that has probably snowballed and won the game for me, to be honest. She's dead, and this will be Ada's second hook. Oh, but she's got Decisive as well. Okay, well that's fine. That's fine. We're in a good position nonetheless. I am now just going to try and predict her pathing and find her again. Ah, close, close, close. Yeah, Ada with that Decisive Strike and then my mishit has definitely wasted some time, so I wouldn't be surprised if the other two are on gens by now. Oh, yep, she's just completely outplayed me there. I'm just going to have to break this pallet, to be honest. Yep, she's just made good distance and they finished another gen. That was pretty costly. I mean, I think I'll still win this match, but that was some good play by Ada and some, to be honest, some misblinks from me, which has definitely cost me a little bit. That being said, I do have somewhat of a 3-gen, and at least the generators are all on this side of the map, and they did the furthest one, so that is good. And I think 2 of them are dead on hook, so that's not a bad position to be in. We just need to hold this side of the map. I think they're going to reset, and we'll just play it out from there. I just caught sight of Ada there, I think, walking through the corridor. Oh, that is Sable, desperately trying to get my attention. I don't know if that's on purpose or not. Okay, some decent Jenner's value there. I definitely made a terrible blink, and Jenner's allowed me to refund it and kind of zone her. Okay, and there it is. There's some lovely Jenner's value there. Completely misblinked all over the place, but Jenner's allowed me to reset my position and get one final blink and then a hit on her. So there you can see the power of Jenner's. I really think it is her best add-on. And my last hit there was a bit of a prediction, predicting she'd go towards the office, and that allowed me to get that hit. And that's definitely part of getting better at Nurse, is predicting survivor pathing. And she is dead, and the game is increasingly looking in our favour. That's great. A great result for this map, for sure. Okay, and we've been able to pick up Dwight's trail, but we are going to hit this generator for some nowhere to hide value. Yep, and there he is. And yeah, that was a nasty hit that was absolutely delivered to me by Nowhere to Hide. So you can see the power of aura perks on Nurse. And Otsdarva, in his most recent video, made some really interesting arguments as to why Nurse should be nerfed, specifically her relationship to aura perks, where he argues that it means that there's no counterplay to her. And to be honest, if she got nerfed in this regard, I'd be okay. I don't necessarily support the change, but I'd be fine. I'd still just learn how to play Nurse without aura and use predictions more. Honestly, my main concern would be for beginner nurses, because Nurse is already obtuse enough to play, and her kill stats reflect that many people pick her up, see how difficult she is in regards to her moderate skill floor, and then drop her. And so in my opinion, Ots' suggested changes would mainly just hurt beginner nurses rather than quality ones like Lachlan or Super Alf, who would still continue to play her at the same level they are. They don't need aura perks anymore. Aura perks are just good crutches for learner nurses. Well, anyway, with that rant out the way and the hatch closed, let's just close out this game. I'm really happy to get a 4K on a Leary's map, one that I usually struggle with, and I don't feel I use my aura too much, so yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that result. Oh, and some lovely generous value to finish up the match. Again, I would not have got that hit there if not for generous allowing me to refund, and that refund brought me right back where Ada was. So yeah, happy days, enjoy the mores, and I will see you in the next game where we'll be using my Comfort Aura build. Okay, we are loading in on the game with my Comfort or Aura build. And this is actually a really great map to show the power of this build, because the game is actually a really good nurse map, especially if you have information, because those two layers mean nothing to nurse. She can jump up and down at will, and if I know where everyone is, it's easy to control the map. Of course, I am saying all this while I'm getting absolutely sauced by this Adam here, and now they're all running in different directions. Okay. Okay, and with Jenners, we can just pretend that that terrible blink that wasted my time never happened. Tremendous. And it does sound like this generator is being worked on. Okay, maybe not, maybe not. Pretty slow start for me, not gonna lie. I really would like to get into a chase soon. Ah, okay, bingo. But now with nowhere to hide, we do have the information that we need. Ooh, okay, definitely a bit of a heavy panting hit there. I love it. Now, remind me that someone in this lobby does have a flashlight, so let's keep that in mind. Ooh, we just got that hit, again, courtesy of heavy panting, I believe. Okay, lovely. That information saving us there, because that person was certainly going to go for a save. Oh, I'm so stupid. It was the Nia who has a flashlight, not the Claudette. I knew that from the lobby as well. But I do think they've all just gone, so I'm just going to demon pick Adam. Yeah, I need to be careful. I feel like this team is going to be pretty good, but we've secured our first hook nonetheless, so that is good, and we've got an injury on someone else. Okay, and there's our flashlight Nia, so it's Brad that's got the flashlight. Need to remember that. Brad the Chad, saving his teammates. Just got a lovely aura reading hit on Brad the Chad there, lovely. And again, oh my goodness, that was a lovely bit of value from that one aura read there, managing to get a double tap on Brad the Chad. We're in a really good position now because I have a hook at the bottom of the stairs here that's right below where I've hooked the last survivor, and that's what I was talking about in my last game, about how important positioning is with hooks when it comes to nurse. And so let's see how this plays out from here. Okay, I think we've spotted a Geralt here. Okay, we might be able to witness the power of the aura build here when we get floods of rage. Hello! Hello again, Zier. Nice to see you. Yep, the power of the aura build, everyone. And because of lethal, I'm still getting a read on Geralt upstairs. Yeah, I'm not even going to pretend. That is absolutely ridiculous. And we can definitely just win and snowball the game from here, I think. I'm just going to leave the other two slugged and try and hunt down this last Adam. I could draw out the game just for the content, but really I did want to showcase the power of aura reading on Nurse. And what better example than this game on Gideon Meatplant. Yep, and that's a game. So you can definitely see the power of the aura reading build on Nurse, and this is the type of thing that Otstarva was talking about. And if I'm being objective, you can see the merits of his argument, because what was this team meant to do here when I had so much aura reading and I had two hooked in the same corner? They were all just going to be in range of all of my aura reading. But yeah, GG's to these guys. Again, nothing they did wrong. It's just a very powerful map for Nurse with aura reading. And next game we will be challenging ourselves a little more by playing my ADEPT build, so not as much aura reading at least, and a little bit more restrictive. But yeah, I was definitely happy to be able to showcase how powerful this build can truly be on the right map. Oh, thank you so much, Brad the Chad. I've made it, guys. I'm a good nurse. Alright, so we're loading in on Wrecker's Yard with my ADEPT build as a bit of a challenge. And to be honest, I'm a bit nervous. I feel a little bit naked without my perks, and I'm not really expecting to win this. We're just going to go in and challenge ourselves a bit. Yep, some more lovely generous value. I've been glad that I can... Yeah, I'm thinking I might need to load up a new game for this ADEPT challenge, guys. Because people just don't want to play, it seems. So, yeah, we'll just pretend this didn't happen and I'll see you in the next game. Alright, so we are loading in on Lambkin Lane as an ADEPT baby nurse. And as I was saying at the beginning of that last game before it all completely fell apart, I am a little nervous to play this without my crutch perks. But let's just again go into this game with a mindset that I'm challenging myself a bit and just enjoy the fundamentals of nurse. One thing I've definitely come to appreciate in the course of making this video and recording these games is how difficult it actually is to play and speak at the same time. So shout out to the streamers that do this every day. My god, another really slow start to a game here. I cannot find anyone on one of the smallest maps in the game. I did see some scratch marks there, so presumably they're on the opposite side to main. Nothing up here either. Okay, finally we see someone, a Sable. Alright Sable, let's do this, let's see what you've got. Okay, yep, that's frustrating, getting auto-locked onto the fence there. There was someone else to my right, but let's stick with Sable for now. Okay, and we do get our first hit, lovely. Okay, and we get our first down. That hit over the pallet is a classic nurse hit that you need to learn if you're learning nurse. When survivors try to play the pallet, you can either immediately blink like I did there and spin around and hit them, or you can wait for them to panic vault. But that time I just went for the quick blink as I had a second blink in my pocket, so I could have blinked again if I needed to. Sadly, nowhere to hide this time, but we're still just going to dry kick every generator we can because we need the little bits of regression that we can do. And if we pressure them off, a regressing gen is always better than one that you leave running anyway. Okay, and that double back there that Sable did is one of the most common tactics that survivors will use when they're in the open, and in fairness they don't have much else to do. And as nurse you just need to anticipate it. So the first blink she did double back on me successfully, but the second time I anticipated it, and so I did a smaller blink into the area I thought she would double back on, and I got the hit. Okay, and now we just need to figure out who we're going for next. We are already one generator down, but we've got two hooks, so not a bad start, and I can hear that generator below, so we're going to go check. Oh, I barely saw her there. That was a nasty hit. Oh, almost. A bit of an overblink, a bit of a whiff there, but that's okay, that's okay. And that's okay because she's ran back into me, and I'll get the down. Honestly, she probably should have played the downstairs, but she wanted to play the upstairs pallet, but just read it wrong, basically. Okay, now that we're moving into the kind of mid to mid-late game, we need to consider where my gens are going to be. So let's check these ones in the middle, because if you let the middle go in this map, you can get a really nasty split final 3 gen, which I do not want as ADEPT Nurse. But let's also, while we're here, check upstairs and main. Yeah, we are doing this. I have no idea where this person has gone to, but I can't waste too much time up here. So let's go back. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately I'm going to have to go for Kate again. I can't see anyone else here. Yeah, instead of immediately firing off my second blink there, I'm going to hold it and let it recharge quickly for this loop that she's going to play here. Ugh, yeah, that's a big misplay for me there. I shouldn't even use Jenners there. I should have just taken the fact I missed the first 2 blinks and waited for them to recharge, because the Jenners actually put me further back. Oh well. Yeah, like now I'm not going to use my second blink. I'm just going to wait for that because... Oh, and she had enduring anyway, so it's irrelevant. But we've got that out of the way, and I'm going to leave her now. But as I was saying, sometimes it's best not to just fire both your blinks if you're not certain you're going to get a hit. If you have 2 blinks down, it will take longer for both of them to recharge. So sometimes it's better just to use that 1 blink and assess the situation, let your fatigue happen, and then recharge a bit faster. And I say that as I completely over blink and use my Jenners again, but just ignore what I'm saying. We'll go down the other side, and yep, she's there, and we get a nice easy down. But yeah, as I was saying, in regards to your blinks and when you should use them, if you're using them for mobility, you should only use 1 blink, not 2, because using both will destroy your cooldown, as you have to recharge 2 instead of 1. So sometimes it's better just to use 1 blink, and if you know you're not going to get that second, be a bit patient, eat that fatigue, and recharge both your blinks for a second attempt. And let's go back to main. Oh, that was very, very lucky. I actually got my blink swallowed a little bit there. I wanted to travel closer to the generator, but it worked out in my favour. I was close enough to Sable when she was running away from the generator, so lovely hit there. Okay, and I'm not sure which hook of this is Sable's, but anyway, playing these games has been really enjoyable actually. It's just reaffirmed my love for the character, trying out all these different builds and playing against some good survivors on some good games, well, apart from that 3rd game. But she's a truly unique experience, even in Dead by Daylight, never mind any other game, and I just find her gameplay really addictive. And so what I'm doing now is I'm just using Jenners to scout the map. Jenners is again very useful in this regard because you can choose the place you want to camp and then blink in other directions. Use both of them though, and then you can press control to immediately return. So that's what I'm using here to check these gens, but also keep guarding Sable. Yeah, unfortunately for Sable, it is probably tunnel out time because we are at 1 gen. I am an ADEPT Nurse, and we are running out of generators. So yeah, unfortunately for Sable, I think she will be my chosen target. So yep, she's doubling back. I don't want to make a mistake, so I've just let the blink go, and I'm just going to zone her for that guaranteed hit. And what's really interesting is I quite often see this tactic of trying to blind a nurse as she's blinking, and I know why now. It was from a short of Alf, who's a nurse main, telling survivors how to counterplay the nurse in advanced ways, and one of them was this flashlight technique where he says that you can stop a nurse from blinking if you blind her at the right moment. But he did say that you have to be good at it and get the timing right, and I do see it quite often, but it usually doesn't work on me. I usually do get the blink off before I am fully blinded. But the reasoning behind it is that it will make the nurse turn away and not use the blink. But you have to get the timing dead on, and Sable didn't there. And yeah, I'd appreciate it if we don't have to talk about that blast mine incident just there. We nurse mains really hate blast mine because we use eruption, we use nowhere to hide. And so we're always tapping gens, and yeah, blast mine can become a real pain. Okay, that might be our first hit on Steve all game. That's great. It doesn't really do much for me now in terms of the macro game, but I'll take what I can get. Yeah, that was well played by Steve, jumping off that step there instead of running back into me. I can hear someone up in the house next to me now, so I will be checking that as soon as I get Steve down. Oh, and that was almost a miss. Probably would have been without heavy panting, but there you go. That add-on coming in clutch again. I did slightly overblink, but I did predict in the right area, so that is good. Okay, and obviously we're now going to check upstairs. Oh my god, that is some of the best generous value that I've got. It might have been Strider that allowed me to hear that, but I blinked upstairs and I heard her drop down below me, so I breast control and returned right to where she was going. That's insane value. That is why generous is just so good. It can be used to completely outdo survivors doubling back on you. I'm actually really happy I got that for this episode. It's just such a powerful add-on, and I love showcasing its value. Alright, and so Kate is going up here. She might be dead. Okay, she is not. Yeah, this turned into a close game, and to be honest with you, I'm probably only winning because this map is so small, and the 3 gens that I've got are just essentially within blinking distance. Any better map in these survivors would definitely have crushed me. Oh yeah, really nice blink there. I mean, those are my favourite type of nurse blinks. I know they're not particularly hard, but it's very nice. That endurance, however, is not particularly nice. I'm not sure where Steve got that from, but that is fine. That is fine. Didn't last much longer anyway. That's all good. Steve might be dead here. Actually, wait, I don't think he is. I think I literally have 12 hooked everyone, and after this, everyone will be dead on hook. Oh well. They're on that gen. Yeah, he's not dead. Okay, that's fine. Okay, what I'm going to do here is, again, this is the importance of having a good hook. This is actually a really good hook that I've just put Steve on. This is the gen they're most progressed on, so I'm just going to sit here ready to go, ready to get someone who goes for the unhook, ready to get someone who's going for the generator. I do suspect they will still try and greed this generator, because, I mean, what much choice do they have at this point in the game? Okay, and Kate might be trying to take me round the back of main, but I won't do that. Yep, and there is Sable trying to go for the generator or save. And this is completely fine. They're both on this side of the map, the wrong side of the map. Hello there again, Kate. Hello there. Okay, we're almost done, and Sable is right there as well. Let's just close this game out. Yep. And I absolutely meant that swallow to catch her off guard. Absolutely intended. Absolutely intended. Alrighty, and that's a GG's. That's an adept if I didn't have the achievement. Lovely stuff. And again, those closing moments of that game really do prove again what Alf was saying about the positioning of a hook when it comes to nurse. I had a really good hook there on Steve right in the middle of the generator that they were trying to do, and there was nothing that they could do really. If they went for the save, I was going for a hit. If they went for the generator, I was going for a hit. And then I zoned them to the wrong side of the map. So again, definitely these little macro elements to nurse's play that I need to get better at. Of course, I still make mechanical issues as the killer, as you saw even in this game, but I'm definitely improving and improving my macro game as her. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoy the Mori. Again, this is just a celebration of a character I love, and showing what it's like to be a mediocre nurse instead of a high level one. But we do have a long journey ahead of us. P100, we're halfway there now, and hopefully by the time I do a P100 showcase, I will see and you will see a vast improvement from what you saw in this video. But until next time guys, I will see you in the fog. Take care of yourself and your loved ones.